Hi friends, welcome back to EduHub Abhilasha. In this video, I am going to tell you about how to remember the different genetic disorders like autosomal dominant or autosomal recessive, X-linked dominant, X-linked recessive using different mnemonics, right? So, let's begin with autosomal dominant disorders. Here, I am going to use the mnemonic. He has a very dominant and powerful father, right? So, he stands for hereditary spherocytosis, hereditary hemorrhagic telangiectasia, hereditary non-polyposis colon cancer, right? He stands for three hereditary disorders, right? Then has stands for Huntington's disease and HOCM, hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy. A stands for adult polycystic kidney disease. V stands for von Willebrand disease and VHL syndrome. Dominant and powerful father. D stands for myotonic dystrophy. O stands for osteogenesis imperfecta. N stands for Marfan's syndrome. I stands for intermittent porphyria. N stands for NF1, NF2. A stands for achondroplasia. N stands for Noonan's syndrome. T stands for tuberous sclerosis. Powerful. P stands for pseudohypoparathyroidism. And father. Here F stands for familial adenomatous polyposis, which includes more than 100 polyps. Lee-Fromini syndrome, which has P53 mutation, as you might have known. Then familial hypercholesterolemia. So these were the autosomal dominant disorders mnemonic, right? So now beginning with the autosomal recessive disorders. It stands for mnemonic is pasta chawal and big facts, right? So P stands for phenylketonuria, A stands for alkaptonuria, S stands for sickle cell anemia, TA pasta stands for thalassemia, C stands for cystic fibrosis. H stands for two things, hemochromatosis and hemophilia C. A stands for alpha 1 antitrypsin deficiency. W stands for Wilson disease. A stands for again two things, albinism and adrenal hyperplasia. Then L stands for lysosomal and glycogen storage disease. Then big facts, right? Pasta, chawal, big facts. B stands for Bloom syndrome. F stands for Fanconi anemia. A stands for ataxia telangiectasia. X stands for xeroderma pigmentosum. And one important point which you all have to remember is all lysosomal storage diseases are autosomal recessive except Hunter's and Fabry's disease. Then question arises, what Hunter's and Fabry disease is actually belonging to which disorders, right? So it belongs to X-linked recessive disorders, right? XLR. So this is all about autosomal recessive. So beginning with X-linked recessive disorders. The mnemonic for this is WISE A B C D E F G H, right? WISE stands for Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome. A stands for hemophilia A and B, right? B stands for Bruton hypogammaglobulinemia. It's a very important disease which again for which mnemonic is BBBB. It's more common in boys and it's due to defect in BTK gene, right? C stands for two diseases, chronic granulomatous disease and color blindness. D stands for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. E for, you can remember, E and LE, right? Lish-Nyhan syndrome. So here E comes in Lish, so you can remember by that. Then F stands for two disorders, Fabry's disease and Fragile X syndrome. And G stands for G6PD deficiency. H stands for Hunter's disease. So as in previous slide, I had told you that Hunter's disease and Fabry's disease are two lysosomal disorders that are exceptional and comes under the category of X-linked recessive. So these were the X-linked recessive disorders, right? So, finally coming to X-linked dominant inheritance and Y-linked or Hollandric inheritance. So, it's pretty simple. The mnemonic for X-linked dominant is Ravi, right? So you can remember R stands for Rett syndrome, A stands for Alport syndrome, V stands for vitamin D resistant rickets, and I stands for incontinentia pigmenti, and Y linked Hollandric inheritance, right? It is Y linked name only is saying that it's present in only in males, right? So it is hypertrichosis or hairy ears. So only this example you need to know in Y-linked, and you should remember that it's present in male, specifically in male, right? So these were the all genetic disorders along with examples. Hope this video is of help to you. Please do support me and like and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching EduHub Abhilasha.